Welcome to the Restorative Justice Coalition's explainer for restorative justice processes. Our processes are simply a guide. Unlike the criminal justice system, restorative justice cannot operate on a one-size-fits-all modality. Instead, we must be creative. Therefore, we encourage those who want to adopt our processes to take what works for them and leave behind the rest. Founded in 2017, our mission is to create a just system that impacts victims, society, and those who offend in a positive, restorative manner. Our vision is a just, equitable criminal justice system that encourages rehabilitation rather than recidivism. In order to make this vision a reality, we believe communities, organizations, networks, and even individuals must begin moving through the world with a restorative justice intent. Our process suggestion is designed for organizations, but may be adopted in any fashion you see fit. Our processes were developed based on research from our own lived experiences, as well as abolition-based processes. Some of the organizations of which we learned from include Bay Area Transformative Justice Collective, Creative Interventions, Critical Resistance, the Consent Academy, and others. To be clear, we are not endorsed by and our processes are not endorsed by these organizations. The principles we look to when we operate a restorative justice process are the following 8 principles. Stakeholder participation is requested. We uphold the 3 pillars of restorative justice, which Howard Zier defines as identifying the needs and the harms, determining who has an obligation to meet such needs, and thorough engagement with all willing participants throughout the process. Consent by all in the process. Need-centric in our processes. Restorative in our solutions. Self-determination oriented in our processes. Our processes are rooted in anti-oppression and also rooted in nonviolence. Our processes don't mandate participation. After all, mandate and consent do not go together. Instead, we encourage it, but if one or more participant in a situation does not wish to consent, we get creative and work without them until they feel ready, if they ever feel ready. Our processes have healing tools, accountability tools, community tools, and combinations of the 3. Let's talk about debunking some myths of restorative justice, and then we will explore the 3 stages we use. The first myth is that if you are a victim or someone who was harmed, that you must face those who harmed you in this process. That simply isn't true. Restorative justice is not one size fits all. Some individuals who were harmed may find it healing or necessary to speak to or hear their harm causers. Others may not like that idea at all. Some people may feel like they don't want to face their harm causer directly at first, but then change their mind later, or vice versa. In restorative justice work, we have the ability and capabilities to manage all kinds of practices, as long as we stay firm on our 8 principles to all parties involved. Another common myth is that restorative justice is for children in school. It certainly has wonderful value in the school settings, but it certainly is not limited to that. One popular myth is that restorative justice is going to end with forgiveness or reconciliation of those whose relationship or community was disrupted. We certainly love it when that happens, but it is not a guarantee nor even a goal of our processes. Another common myth is that restorative justice is a quick circle, and then everyone goes home. Circles are a big part of processes and can be healing. However, these are called restorative justice processes, not restorative justice moments. Full processes can be as short as a few months and can extend into years depending on the nature. A highly popular myth is that restorative justice is about what the victim or survivor in a situation wants. Unfortunately, it is not. It is a needs-centered process. We are about fulfilling needs, not wants. Please keep in mind that our facilitation won't assist anyone with giving punishments, vengeance, revenge, or anything else that is not a relevant, restorative need. Lastly, we want to divorce the notion that restorative justice practitioners need to have advanced degrees. We certainly think there is value in that kind of training, but that kind of thinking locks restorative justice away from the communities who are most vulnerable. The concepts of restorative justice can be learned by anyone, regardless of their education history or access. Our processes are 3 stages. The first stage is known as the identification stage, and it is broken down into 3 phases. The first phase involves orienting the participants to the process, getting to know them, and setting mutual expectations. During the first phase, participants will need to work to set up their own support systems that can help them both emotionally and logistically throughout the process. It may feel tempting to skip that part of the process, especially in community processes or smaller organizations. Trust us, it is not a good idea. In our model, we have a streamlined orientation of the process, which helps debunk myths, help set boundaries, set expectations, and discuss the process overview. This element is important, even though it may take up time. Remember, if you are looking for speedy processes, our process model is not for you. If you are looking for perfect processes, ours are not for you either. If you are looking for efficient processes that can help bring you closer to resolution, then please consider what we have to say. After we orient everyone and give them some initial tools, we begin the process of identification. Identification should not be thought of as an interview, interrogation, nor should it be a fact-finding mission. Our facilitators remain 100% neutral and only serve to facilitate within our 8 principles. We hope the participants will tell their whole truth. During identification, every individual in the situation will tell their full, uninterrupted truth privately with their facilitator. This prevents groupthink, social pressure, and crosstalk. The facilitator will help each participant turn their story into a sentence, which will help us understand the nature of the harms at hand. During this time, we will talk with anyone accused of harm and ask if they want to own the harm, or if they dispute the harm. This allows us to understand what power dynamics are at play, the severity of the situation, and the context of the harms. In addition, it gives us an opportunity to see what information is all agreed upon, and what information is still in dispute. Based on the information in identification, we can then move to the facilitation stage. The facilitation stage is often the most anticipated and most emotionally taxing part of the process. With a strong foundation built in identification, the facilitators have the knowledge of what type of facilitation model they would like to use. They may use a listening circle to help people with disagreements hear each other out in an uninterrupted space, or they may use a healing and accountability circle. In other cases, outside us might be necessary to help reflect on the situation, so we might suggest a peer panel conference. Other times, a storyteller seminar, or perhaps a restorative mediation could serve as the appropriate tool. Our facilitators will evaluate each unique situation to determine which models are the best fit, or perhaps create a hybrid or a completely original model. At the end of the facilitation stage, the participants and the community attend a moving forward conference. This conference is where all involved work together to create a moving forward action plan. The moving forward action plan is designed for the community to work through what happened and create healing actions, prevention actions, and accountability actions for the participants and the community. The facilitators help guide them along and keep the action plan on track to our 8 principles, but ultimately the decisions are made by the community. An action plan is only successful when all involved consent to and understand it, and when it is restorative in nature. In this phase, it will be more important than ever to think about the difference between consequences and punishments. Consequences are reasonable and naturally occurring. Punishments are manufactured harms. We will work with your community to create a suitable action plan that ideally will work for everyone. During this conference, community members are asked to join pods to support each participant. For those who need accountability, the pods work together to help make sure that happens. For those who were harmed, the pods work together to maintain their support. The pods also serve as a voice to the facilitation and the community about the progress of each participant. We will discuss with you how to develop pods and the roles of the pods. Once again, remember, restorative justice is a process, not a moment. These are not quick, easy fixes, and there's no way to guarantee results or outcomes. We just have to get together and talk about it. Want to learn more? Contact us for a consultation at admin@restorativejusticecoalition.org. You can also download our free process overview guide. We provide consultation. We can help you build a restorative justice process from the ground up. We can help you improve your existing process, or we can implement and facilitate our own processes and serve as your hub for your organization or community's conflict, harm, and abuse situations. We look forward to building a better world together.